to start off fishtail braid now. The other braid, I told you, you had to keep that mannequin head always tilted forward to get this knot loose. This fishtail braid, I tell you what, it is meant to have a lot of drag to it. This is the only braid I'm going to tell you, keep your mannequin head tilted back the entire time. This is the only braid we'll do that with because we want a lot of drag in this particular braid. This isn't a tough braid, but many of you will probably struggle because you're going to want to twist the hair. There's no twisting. It's just entirely, everything is just going over top, over top, over top. Watch what we do here. This is the simpler of the braids, but I do think people tend to complicate it. Let's take our half moon section again, dragging the comb along the scalp without ever picking it up, just dragging the tail along and then taking half the hair. This braid is going to differ from your other braids because you will take tiny sections. If we were taking 3 centimeter sections before, now we're going to take 1 centimeter sections. It will look so much better and you'll see what I mean when we do this. So here we go. I've got my mannequin. I have 1 section of hair that I'm going to split into 2. I'm going to take one of those sections and I'm just going to cross them over. Okay, so I have 1 section underneath and 1 section on top. This section that is underneath is going to go into my thumb, and the one that's over top is going to come under into the scissors. This part might look a little odd to you because this hair that's on top is actually being put into the fingers that are underneath. So watch to make sure you have that exactly right. Lots of people, it's just the beginning of this fishtail that they can't quite get started. Okay, so basically we just had 2 sections, we crossed them over, whichever section was underneath, that's what I put in my thumb, and whichever section was on top, that's what I put into my scissor finger. Okay, now we're going to take 1 centimeter sections, dragging it all the way along on the scalp, right from the hairline to my fingers, and take that 1 inch section, and it just crosses over and goes under your thumb. That is all there is to this. Now I'm going to switch. What was in my scissor finger is now going to go into my thumb. So here I go to take what was in my scissor finger. My thumb is taking that out, and what was in my thumb is now going to go into my scissor finger. So I haven't twisted, I haven't done anything, I've just switched hands. Take your 1 centimeter section again, all the way from the hairline back to your fingers, and it crosses over and goes underneath the thumb. Okay, so the hair is always being crossed over. Now what was in your scissor fingers now goes into your thumb of your other hand. What was in your thumb now goes into your scissor fingers. We're not twisting, this is just laying the hair flat over top. Take another 1 inch section, 1 centimeter section all the way back to your fingers and put that up on top. This braid can take a long time, as you can see, because you're taking very small tiny sections, but it will look far better if you stop and take really small sections as you go. Okay, the only thing I want to show is I'm here in the crown. My head is still tilted back. It's been tilted back the whole time. I'm grabbing the hair from underneath here, that 1 centimeter section. Do not try to go underneath and follow your hand along the scalp. Once you get to this crown area, you are holding your hand in this spot, in this exact spot. Now for the rest of you're going to hold your hand in this spot for the rest of the braid. You will not deviate your hands from this spot. Keep them here. Don't try to follow the mannequin head. That's not the intention here. We want to simply create our very small sections coming all the way up to the top. Stand up, don't sit down. Just keep pulling that hair all the way up to this same spot. I hope that you've had a chance to look at some pictures of a fishtail braid before you've started, because that at least will give you an idea of where this is going. Because in the meantime, while I'm looking at this here, you can't, unless you've seen pictures, it's tough to visualize what this braid is going to look like, and tough to see that you're doing the right thing along the way. But keep your hand at this spot, stand up the whole time, just go and get the hair from underneath and bring it up. Okay, so I just want to show you, my hand has not moved from where it was, the mannequin head is still tilted back, and keep in mind this is the side view of this, right? At the moment it's not looking like a whole lot but wait until we finish. But I'm at the stage now where I'm entirely out of hair, so I want to show you what to do to finish off this fishtail braid, and then perhaps from here you'll see why we call it a fishtail braid. Okay, so I've got the hair holding it in my hands. I'm just going to take a little piece of hair from behind one of those, one of the sides of hair I have. Take that and I'm going to cross it over. Then I'm going to switch my hands the same as I always have. Take a little piece of hair from behind and cross it over. Switch hands, take a little piece of hair from behind and cross it over. This can take a long time to get you to the end, but hopefully as you're watching this you can see how this is looking a little bit like the fishtail in here, and this is where this comes into play here when I keep crossing over each of those pieces of hair as we go. Okay, we're totally finished the fishtail braid. You can see I'm all the way out to the end. Now, okay, not looking like much. Here's the pièce de résistance here. People, tilt your mannequin head up, and what do you have? Look at that. You can tuck this tail underneath. This drag is entirely intended to come over top of there, and you actually have a very cool looking braid. You can, if you want, I don't recommend it till you get to this point and take a picture here, because you may wreck it at this point, but you can give this a little bit of a pull forward and a yank down. Remember, this isn't to clients, so go ahead and yank away. But see how that just, the fishtail just falls just a little bit more, giving a little bit more of a couple pulls back and forth, and tucking that under, and there is your fishtail braid. And this one, of course, you can see when you're looking at this, absolutely there's drag. There is intended to be drag. There's intended to be some loose hairs there. But the same follows through. We're going to do the same format where your section's really small. Was your fishtail in the center? Now actually you can see on mine, maybe I'm not getting a 5 out of 5 here. It comes just slightly off and then comes back. So maybe that's only a 4 out of 5 for me on the centered. Was it neat? Did you get as much hair up in there as you could? I'm not seeing the hair falling down here. And how was the tension? And when I'm looking at tension, I am looking to see that this has that nice drag in it in there.